and this is something I want all Canadians to know, is that there's something really wrong with this thing called democracy in Canada, when a government can move away from the Constitution, to move away from the highest courts in the land and do whatever it is that they please. A majority government does not give that right, Stephen Harper. As we all know, there was a meeting that happened in Ottawa on Friday. We must learn from what we've seen. We must find ways, each of us, to stay united. We need everybody at the pump for the revolution. Everybody. We have a monumental task to break down the stereotypes that Canadians hold as they view us as First Nations people. This has been in place for generations, so we must accept that fact and understand it's going to take a little while, and many of us to have those conversations again and again and again and again, so we can move this society towards being more just, to move it away from its racist foundations of the doctrine of discovery, to move towards a time when First Nations can feel proud of being a part of this fabric of Canada, and a time when Stephen Harper or whoever is in charge of Canada as the Prime Minister actually puts the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People on the ground for First Nations to use. When I first saw that Stephen Harper supported the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, it reminded me of Gordon Campbell and his new relationship. It sounded wonderful. There's a lot of press. Another example of the new relationship. I know that myself, as well as many other First Nations, tried to engage with the province about even the most basic concepts of the new relationship, and the government was unwilling to do so. But they sure talked about it, and made a good story for a number of years. So now we look at Stephen Harper. For a couple of years now, he's recognized the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. It's nowhere near the tables that I've been sitting at, and we make ourselves available to advance our position as First Nations every opportunity we get. I'm very proud of the leadership that I've met across Canada. Very proud of the leadership that I see in British Columbia from the chiefs. Strong, clear, concise, articulate, and not taking any garbage from the government. We push back every opportunity that we get. I'm very grateful to stand amongst you today. I'm very grateful to be with people that have a place in their heart to make this society better. So Canada can realize in its fullest form its own potential. Instead of looking around the globe and pointing at human rights infringements of other countries, it needs to take a look in its own backyard and make the changes that are necessary here in Canada. I'm very grateful to be here on behalf of the Union of BC Indian Chiefs. I'm the executive of the vice president. And as I mentioned yesterday in the NIMO, gosh, this took me a lot longer to say the few things that I wanted to say. But again, please take a moment in your day. Who's on Facebook? I suspected as much. So that means every one of you's got a computer possibly and a keyboard. Stephen Harper's got an email address. It's not too hard to find. That's the action that we need. This is wonderful. This is where we draw the strength to take on the fight every day. But that fight includes us taking more action when we're not together, to do the right thing when no one's watching. And we must remind, scream at, yell at Stephen Harper. Without deviation from the norm, progress is not possible, and status quo has got to go.